is a light that casts away darkness. It finds its way into every heart. Pour forth your soul like water flows to sea. Then we will be all we're meant to be.
Of the remnant of your people. We are the remnant of your people. Look over us, watch us, protect us from those that seek to harm us. We have not forgotten you. Don't forget us.
ישראל, שמו שארית ישראל, ועל ישראל, המים שמע ישראל, שמו גוי אחד, שמו שארית עם אחד, ועל יוון גוי אחד, עם יחד עם שמך השם אלוקינו השם אחד.
Shalom, I am Rabbi Shaul Praver. You're watching Rabbi Rock. I'm not sure if everybody realizes that the Inquisition lasted for 350 years, beginning roughly around 1480 and ending at roughly 1820. It was a very long time, the Inquisition, and it's a lot closer to our times than we might have imagined. And of course, the Inquisition is the forced conversion of Jews and anybody that was not Catholic at the time to Catholicism, and in some countries it was a threat of conversion or death, and in other countries there weren't such choices, and it was a terrible event, terrible tragedy, human tragedy in our world, in our recent history. And today we have a very, very fine lecturer and author, Andree Brooks, that has come here to speak with us, and we're very fortunate to have a scholar of her magnitude with us here at Rabbi Rock. So welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Nice to be here.
The whole subject of the conversos, there must be millions of people living in Latin American countries today that are from these families? That,
yes, it wasn't the Inquisition that converted them. They were forcibly converted separate from the Inquisition. It was the Inquisition that was in charge of making sure they were sincere Catholics, and would arrest them if they had any signs they were slipping back into Judaism. Sometimes if they didn't even have any signs, they just wanted to get rid of them. But what it did was that it meant that these people were, who had been forcibly converted or had been converted under tremendous duress, were living in a terrible situation. And it meant that they needed to often get away from Spain and Portugal, where a lot of it had started, and scatter in other places. So they came to the Spanish and the Portuguese colonies in the New World, a lot of them to Mexico and to South America. Something similar was happening around the same time in Italy. But in Italy it was different. Every town had its house of converts, and they would pressure the Jewish community in any town, a lot of towns throughout Italy, to convert. And sometimes when economic conditions got tough enough, or they had enough restrictions on Jews as what Jews could do or couldn't do, they were converted. But in a way, the Italians took a more benign way out. They didn't have so much of an inquisition as this house of converts, where they would feed you spaghetti and say it's great to be a Christian.
Wow. Now, the conversos, okay, these are
the descendants of these people who, throughout those centuries, were converted to Catholicism.
Okay. Now, not all of them were secretly practicing Judaism, but some of them were.
Not all of them were, and some of them we don't even know today, and they don't even know today. They might have been of Jewish ancestry, but a lot of them kept the Jewish identity alive as part of the family traditions or law, L-O-R-E, law. It didn't necessarily even mean that they were any vestiges of Jewish practice, or sometimes there was. It just meant that this was part of the family's heritage and traditions, that on the deathbed very often of a grandparent, they would assemble the younger generation and say, I just want you to know I pass it along as my father passed it along, as his father passed it along, that we were once Jews, and one day perhaps we will be Jews again.
Now, these are millions and millions of people.
Today, millions throughout Latin and Central America and the Southern American states.
That have a warm feeling, a fuzzy feeling for...
Not all of them do, no. Some of them do.
Okay.
It's a very interesting thing, and the thing is that in the last 15 years there's been a huge acceleration of a return of these people to Judaism, and that is what I had written about very recently in Hadassah magazine in the December 06 issue, and in January 07 in World Jewish Digest, which reprinted that article, because what they have become is an issue for the Jewish world. What do we do with them?
What accelerated that movement towards their roots in the last 15 years?
The same that's accelerated this hunt for genealogy. Genealogy is the bottom of it. And genealogy has become hot because people now can trace a lot of their ancestry online. And there are Ancestry.com, and there are so many sites, and there is a tremendous explosion of the Jewish ancestry sites, genealogy sites. There's DNA testing. Some of these people who harbored a feeling that they did have Jewish ancestry based on family traditions or law have been going for these DNA tests and finding out that they have indeed Jewish markers, suggesting that somewhere along the line, way back when, they were indeed of Jewish stock.
That's very fascinating. Now, what are some of the problems of embracing those that do want to pursue their Jewish roots?
Major. And that is what I was writing about, and that, of course, is what I talk about when I do talks on that and other subjects in Jewish institutions around this country and elsewhere. What has happened is that when they go and knock on the door of their local synagogue in town, maybe if they're in the Southwest, or even if they're in a Mexican town or a Argentinian town, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And they say, you know, we think we have Jewish heritage and we have a strong feeling we'd like to come back to Judaism. It's not usually an understanding of what Judaism is. They haven't a clue.
Yes.
But they just have this feeling that they want to come back to family.
Yes.
When you speak to them, it's very interesting. They always talk about the strong sense of return. It's the call of the blood is the Spanish language version of it. The call, they feel a calling back. And they go in and they say, yes, I want to be Jewish again. And what do I do? And the Jewish world, according to halakha, which of course is the Jewish law, they aren't Jewish. Too many generations have gone by. They didn't have a so-called Jewish mother, so you know they have to. So according to Jewish law, the only thing they can do is convert to Judaism.